seeing that in a championship fight, because you don't see that at championship fights. Like, the ability to hold someone down at champion level, especially like the champion. If you go in there like Chimaev did, like Islam did, and hold the champion down for 20 odd minutes, for 23 odd minutes, that is so rare. You don't see that. UFC hasn't seen that really across its history. It is wild. It's also...
After both Khamzat Chimaev and Islam Makhachev faced criticism for their allegedly lackluster title-winning performances, Robert Whittaker intervened to defend them. The absence of a stoppage caused many in the MMA community to label Islam and Khamzat's victories as dull, even though they controlled their championship fights from beginning to end. Whittaker vigorously refuted that story in the most recent episode of his podcast. People have no idea how impressive it actually is to dominate another world-class fighter like that for nearly 25 minutes, he remarked. It is extremely challenging to shut off champions or top competitors everywhere, and it is even more difficult to do it in back-to-back rounds. Rob emphasized that viewers frequently fail to realize how high the bar is and how uncommon that degree of control actually is. Chimaev is anticipated to make a comeback sometime after April 2026 in a significant middleweight bout against Nassourdine Imavov. The first Russian two-division champion, Islam Makhachev, is currently awaiting his next step. Depending on how the division turns out, it will either be Ilia Topuria or one of the best welterweight contenders like Ian Garry or Kamaru Usman.
Seeing that in a championship fight, because you don't see that at championship fights. Like, the ability to hold someone down at champion level, especially like the champion. If you go in there like Chimaev did, like Islam did, and hold the champion down for 20 odd minutes, for 23 odd minutes, that is so rare. You don't see that. UFC hasn't seen that really across its history. It is wild. It's also cool seeing the bubble. You know, we're in a bubble period and I'm waiting for it to pop. And it is the highest level grappling. Like, you can go back and watch those as a tutorial, bro. They're like, look at the small details. It's crazy. And you know what I find funny, bro? Like, the people that go like, what are we going to do in the street to hold a guy down? Like, how you going to... Bro, if you're in a street fight and some dude hops on top of you and humps your head for 25 minutes, bro, you lost.
Islam Makhachev discussed a potential return to lightweight, a super fight with Ilia Topuria, and who he thinks is truly in line for his next welterweight title defense in a recent interview with a Russian source. Islam stated unequivocally that he would not fight Topuria at 155 unless the UFC made a significant deal. He said that he was no longer a young warrior, his health suffers with each cut, and becoming lightweight is not the same as it once was. The UFC would have to give him something enormous for him to exhaust himself once more. If not, he will remain at 170. In response to a question concerning his upcoming welterweight opponent, Islam stated that things are finally beginning to make sense. He claims there are 3 or 4 serious competitors, and he anticipates the UFC selecting the winner in the next 2 weeks. He also responded to Ian Garry's UFC QR performance. Islam claimed that he was not surprised by Garry. However, the UFC might select Garry next if he catches them off guard. Then he spoke to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Islam noted that Shavkat has been sidelined for almost a year, stating that it is difficult to defend giving someone who has been sidelined for so long due to ailments a chance to win a championship. Ultimately, though, Islam has no problem accepting the fight if he heals and is chosen by the UFC.
Если тебя попросят провести бой с Ильей Топурией в 70 килограмм, согласишься или теперь только 77?
В 70, я думаю, это должно быть слишком хорошее предложение, чтобы я опять начал вес гонять 70 килограмм, так как я уже не молодой тоже в этом виде спорта, и каждая весогонка забирает тоже годы здоровья, и уже не так легко, как раньше вес гонять.
Following his tense encounter with Ian Garry at the Fighter Hotel, Khamzat Chimaev stole the show. In a matter of seconds, what appeared to be a casual exchange on television escalated into a real physical brawl. This is what really took place. Ian approached Khamzat and took him by the back in an attempt to give him a lighthearted, cordial greeting. However, the touch was far more intimate than it had to be. The unbeaten Chechen took offense, and as Garry left, Chimaev gave him a cordial but obviously hostile backslap. After Ian turned around and they spoke, Khamzat shoved him and threatened to fuck him up. Before things got worse, security came in right away and separated them. Finally speaking out about the matter, Dana White stated, quote, UFC staff and matchmakers are getting tired of these hotel hallway incidents. Khamzat is the focus of attention far too frequently, and it keeps happening card after card. Dana also suggested that the audience is still unaware of another incident that took place backstage. Following a decisive victory over Belal Muhammad, Garry is criticizing Islam Makhachev in every interview. He's on a 2-game winning streak after defeating Protester and now Belal, and he feels completely justified in his pursuit of a championship. Let's hear Dana's thoughts on the matter now.
Had that run-in at the hotel.
There was so much bad shit that happened in the behind the scenes with that thing, and yeah, not good. Yeah, the matchmakers aren't big fans of his for many different reasons. And
I don't know. I don't even know how. We stopped it, but we didn't do a good job of not letting it happen.
Finally, Max Holloway explained why he isn't joining the frenzy around the historic White House event that every fighter appears to be pleading to attend. Max emphasized that his family is the most important thing to him, even though the idea is enormous and the attention would be crazy. Holloway stated that his family would not even be able to get seats because the event can only accommodate about 5,000 people. For him, emotionally, that is a deal breaker. He made it plain that unlike everyone else, he is not going crazy over it. But he stated that he would still fight there if the UFC asked because it's a significant moment for the sport. Family is the most important thing to him. Max is already aiming for the rematch with Charles Oliveira after his decisive victory over Dustin Poirier. If that bout takes place, the victor is immediately pushed back toward a shot at the lightweight championship. In the meantime, things are becoming intriguing on the champion side. Compared to a few weeks ago, a clash between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan is now far more likely. Arman recently achieved yet another victory. Fans are already referring to Arman as the undisputed frontrunner for Ilya's title if a return in February, as many anticipate. The timing is flawless. Okay, let's listen to what Max had to say.
Champion. I mean, the only American champion he is the BMF title, so you're looking at the man. So, am I going to be at the card? I like my odds of being on it, but I don't know too much. I really wanted to be on it because I heard that's only going to have like 5,000 people on the lawn. The 5,000 people, I don't know if my family would be able to have seats there. So at the end of the day, it kind of sucked not having your family members there, especially when I worked my way up so high in the UFC to where I'm so used to having them in like really close ringside and stuff and them just being there. So the odds of me being in there is probably high, like I said, because there's no UFC American that's a champion, but me with the BMF title. So we'll see what happens. First things first, just get you this injury, and hopefully I can get a fight early in the year, like around March, April, or if they hold me, it's just so long. I fought Poirier in June, and the card is going to be in June, so that'll be a long wait for me.
What were your thoughts on Arman Tsarukyan's victory over Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar? Do you think he's prepared to take on El Matador for the title? What were your thoughts on Ian Garry's triumph over Belal Muhammad, an alteration to the welterweight title image? Would you like to watch Islam Makhachev vs. Garry? Let us know where you stand by leaving your thoughts in the comments section below. I appreciate you watching. Remember to subscribe and leave a like for daily MMA news.